Good morning. Good morning. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk the Holy Bible. We are alone, but not for long. Lana is going to be signing on. Both their laptops were low on power, so she'll be signing back on here in just a minute. Well, yesterday it was Thanksgiving, and I know that each of us that have a chance to listen in here, an opportunity to share, but I hope that everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We had just a good time with our children. Finished it off by playing a little bit of Trivial Pursuit, and I got whooped. My kids whooped me. My wife whooped me, but it was a good game. I'm glad to see that our children are full of trivia, and hey, it was a special time. Anytime that you're able to get together and have a good time, I try and have a little more fun than it's supposed to be, but that's just who I am. But anyway, I hope that again everyone had a great Thanksgiving yesterday and an opportunity to spend time with family and friends, because surely that's what this day is meant for, to spend time with family and friends, to help one another, and to do the best things that we possibly can for our society, for our humanity, just trying to go out and do the best that we possibly can. Let's take a quick look and see if we can have this birthday shout outs. I'm going to cover this real quick. Mike Mendoza. Mike Mendoza is a realtor down in Arizona, and he's a former Major League Baseball player. So Mike Mendoza, happy birthday to you. Lana, do you have any birthdays today?
I don't. I've got a few adjustments here, but no birthdays.
Well, this fellow was a former Major League pitcher and pitched in the Houston Astros system and may have played for another team, but I believe it was mostly for the Astros. So, Mike, happy birthday to you. God bless you. Enjoy it.
Yes.
All right.
God bless
Going to
you.
read through. Now, Lana, what did you have as far as Thanksgiving? How did it go for you? How did your family do and survive?
It was great. I'll tell you what. We went to the new movie theater. Heated seats. Heated reclining seats. And The Big Red Dog was definitely a family movie. It was very enjoyable. Not one that this lady really needed to go see, because I tend to cry a lot. I'm a weeper, but no one dies. Everything's okay, but it's a story for kids, and it was enjoyable. Dinner was great, and we had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So,
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if the Bills won. I don't think they did. Did the Bills win last night?
You know what? I have no idea. The only game that I know for sure was the Raiders beat the Cowboys, because my son
did.
The Raiders beat the Cowboys in overtime. I didn't see 1 minute. I don't know the score. My son, while we were playing Trivia Pursuit, he said the Raiders beat the Cowboys. And I'm going, whoa. Two losses in a row. 2 losses in a row for the Cowboys. And this is a Raider team that they should have beaten. So.
Well, and it was touch and go.
How about them Cowboys?
How about those Cowboys?
Now, Nebraska came up in our game of Trivia Pursuit. Nebraska did. And these are things that happened between 2010 and 2020. Nebraska changed their state motto from Nebraska is nice.
Oh.
and
That motto.
changed it. And this was the funny part. Hilarious to me. I believe, and I may be taken a little bit out of context, but it's not for everybody. The state motto for Nebraska, it just may not be for you. Something like that.
And you know, that was I got something on my screen. That it used to be Nebraska the Good Life.
Oh, I
And
think it just
and
was
they
nice.
yeah, well, yeah, it used to be, well, the original was Nebraska the Good Life. Then
Why
I
not
don't know if
stay
the
with
Good
that?
Life, huh?
Why not stay with that?
Why not? Well, because they had a political dispute. This one gal was really going to town with advertising. I shouldn't say this, but the world is listening, but who cares? Uh, and had some really good ads and really going to town. Well, somebody else found fault with that. She was spending too much money. You know how that goes. So they got rid of her, and they come back a whole new philosophy, and it was going to be Nebraska nice. It's like, so then I think then from Nebraska nice, they went to Nebraska, but not good for everybody. Not good for everybody. Something dumb like that. And I'm thinking, here we go from the good life to maybe not good enough for everybody else. I mean, you know, only in Nebraska. Only in Nebraska. You see
Well,
our coaches change like sheets off the bed.
they didn't used to.
I know they didn't. And we used to be the good life. I don't know what we
That's
are now.
that was pretty outrageous. And when I saw that on there, I told Darlene, I told my kids and said, I'm gonna talk with Lana about this one. What happened? The good old
It was about some political stuff that came unglued. Um, you know how politics is, and it just it became a focus, and there was some jealousy going on. I guess I don't know. Who knows? I thought it was quite nice because they had these aerial views of Nebraska and kids, you know, in it, young people viewing the state. Because let me tell you something: as much as Gittimer likes to plug at Nebraska and Polk,
yeah.
and the weather is not for everybody. The weather really isn't for everyone, uh, but the state as itself is beautiful.
Hmm.
What people don't recognize is this, and a lot of people that live in the eastern part of the state don't recognize it either. Nebraska is, you know, the land that you see that people own, they own that land. Some of it's been 3 generations in families that they farm. And there's acre upon acre of land that you might have to have 3 sections to feed 100 cows. It's that sparse. Sandhills. They don't understand it, but what the other thing they don't understand is that farm ground. They work hard and they're feeding not only Nebraskans, they're trying to feed everybody.
Trying to
And
feed the
that
world.
and some of their taxes. Actually, I had a friend that they were paying $40,000 a year in property taxes alone. They owned
Wow.
a lot of sandhills,
They must
and
have
they did
owned a lot.
well. Not when you get right down to it. I don't know what that amount is now, but there it's a price tag because they go by acres, or they used to. I don't know. I'm not a genius on this, and don't pretend to be. It just needs to go away. Our property taxes need to go away in the form of a consumption tax.
Hmm.
They need to go away because there's an imbalance there that people don't understand. They'll say, well, I pay $8,000 on my house. Well, I know that's great. And that's too high, but you're not feeding the world with that house. That's not a business. And a lot of these businesses, then, they get exemptions. So, but farmers. But
All right.
it's a big gamble.
Understand. Now,
Nebraska's good.
Nebraska's good. It's just not for everybody. So
and other people see that, you know what?
it was on Trivial Pursuit. So I'm still just chuckling to it. I was chuckling when I went to bed about that. It's not just for everybody.
But we're friendly out here. We wave at you as you drive by. Oh gosh. Oh dear.
But I wanted to mention Fitz and his granddaughter being on TV yesterday. I believe there was just a quick shot of her maybe getting off, but they had a group of 600 across the U.S. that she was a part of. So
he sent me some videos. I don't know. I got home late last night. I haven't been around, as you can see. I wasn't around my computers at all, which I don't know why their batteries are low on them, but maybe somebody else was.
they have a tendency to go low. I would.
I'll have to tell the girls that their fairy was over here snooping around and using my computers and got all that stuff. Oh dear.
All right, let's take a quick look here and mention our friends who are in prayer for all the time: Curtis Brown, Rex Smith, Danny Magagliano, Red Burkheimer, Shelly Elliott, Nancy Kurtbrand, Ashley Van Winkle, Jeff Rainey, Keith Landris, our dear friend Keith, Eric D. Flournoy, God bless you, Eric, Joe and Joseph, praying for each of you. And then, Lana, if you can pick up these.
I will. Larry Lichty of Kearney and his ministry, Kim Brendenbaugh, Holland Grubaugh, and her husband Tom, and we're thanking God for the work in their lives. Ted Legal, Casey DeSantis had a beautiful, that's one of them that I did pick up on my phone, picture that Fitz sent me of their family. Beautiful family. So we need to keep them all in prayer as her healing continues. David Anuda and Bishop Smith. And then we've got Saul Sotero, and they're doing well. And I hope God just continues to bless Saul. He's a great guy. Andre Morris, Quentin Boutal, the Coyles are doing well. Tim Coyle and his family, and we're thanking God that he's continuing to shelter them and keep them in peace. Sue Tavares and Peter Kuhl.
Absolutely. And we just want to keep in mind here, yesterday we had a day of being thankful. And I just want to bring up, I am thankful no matter what we were going through in our country. I am thankful to be a proud citizen of the USA, and thankful that we are a good country. I don't care what is said by anyone. We are a good country. Do we make mistakes? Do we have our faults? Yes. But we are a very good country and a giving country.
That's true. Very true. I want
to pray not only for our country, for some healing, for us to get together, but also pray for our leaders. Pray that there will be some wisdom found, and that God's hands will be all over our government, and that they should know that they should be doing the best for our people, and doing it in a way that is fair and just, knowing that God looks at the scales and he wants the scales balanced. Absolutely. So I just pray for our nation, and I pray for everybody. I want everyone to have a good life.
And remember, we need to pray for those that are unable to pray for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's take a look and see who joined in here with us. today, and we got a couple. Frank Nell, good morning, Charles and Lana. Fantastic Friday. Frank Nell, good evening to you.
Yeah.
I hope that you ended up having a wonderful day on your birthday, and God bless you. Good morning, all. Blessings and be safe. Frank Nell, absolutely the same to you. Sheridan Dunn. Frank Nell, thank you so much. And if you'd like to share it out, please do.
Yes.
Scott Ricard. Good morning, Charles
Happy
and
Friday.
everyone. Happy
Hate to
Friday.
say it. I hope it's a good Friday for all of those that are out there just standing in a line somewhere, hoping to get a goodbye. I hope that it's a good Friday.
Black Friday. Stay at home.
Black Friday. Yeah,
Stay at home.
And don't buy anything over the internet. That's what the
Stay at home.
not for everybody broadcast was today from Broken Bow, Nebraska.
I used to be pretty good at Trivial Pursuit, but not anymore. Well, this was the 2010 through 2020 edition, and I just kept moving towards yellow, which is the news, because I don't know anything about our kids' music, and I mean anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of the culture stuff I knew very little of. It turns out that I know very little about a lot of things. I am covering a little.
But you got the news about Nebraska. It's not for everybody.
It's not for
That's
everybody.
funny. That's the funniest thing. From California to New York, we now know it's not for anybody, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Christopher
Hello there,
Green.
Christopher.
Do you know Christopher?
Yes, he's a friend on Facebook. I don't know him well. I don't know him personally, but yeah.
Okay, well, I just became friends with Christopher on Facebook. San Jose is beautiful today. Let's see. Obviously, the sun's not out, being 6:18, but it is 45 degrees.
Oh,
45 degrees. Christopher, have a wonderful day. God bless, man. And then Kathy Schertz Carvajal. Good morning, everyone. Arnie and I are sitting here with Charlie listening to the morning reading. Charlie has got to be a good dog.
Charlie is probably spirit-filled if he's listening to this.
Hope everyone had a blessed Thanksgiving and the rest of the week. Absolutely. You know what? I just realized how blessed I am to have my children there with us, and Darlene and I. We have our disagreements, and we do not see eye to eye on a few things, but realizing, hey, these are our kids and little people that we raised, and we laughed at some of the things that they went through as kids, and we're just grateful. So I hope that everyone that has children out there was able to spend time with their children. If not, just being in touch, but just realizing how blessed that they are to have their children. And again, happy Thanksgiving. Kathy and Arnie, I just wish, and Charlie, wish you all just a wonderful day and wonderful weekend.
Is Charlie a dog? Is Charlie a dog?
Scott, it's yes. I believe we've seen photos of Charlie. I know we have.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then Christopher Green, oh, what a beautiful place to be. Nebraska or California?
Yeah. Yeah, Nebraska's 28, by the way.
And God bless you too, Miss Charles. Christopher, so glad to have you here with us. All right, we are going to go ahead and get into our reading for the day. And we got a bit to read. So, Lana, we've got Proverbs 26, 1 through 28. Why don't you pick up the first 14 there, and I'll go with that.
All right. Wonderful. Let's start. Like snow in the summer or rain in harvest, honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a fluttering sparrow or a darting swallow, an undeserved curse does not come to rest. A whip for the horse, a halter for the donkey, and a rod for the backs of fools. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you will be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes. Like cutting off one's feet, or drinking violence, is the sending of a message by the hand of a fool. Like a lame man's legs that hang limp is a proverb in the mouth of a fool. Like tying a stone in a sling is the giving of honor to a fool. Like a thorn bush in a drunkard's hand is a proverb in the mouth of a fool. Like an archer whose wounds are random is he who hires a fool or any passer-by. As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. The sluggard says, there is a lion in the road, a fierce lion roaming the streets. As a door turns on its hinges, so a sluggard turns on his bed.
The sluggard buries his hands in the dish. He is weary of bringing it to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than even 7 men who can give a discreet answer. Like one who takes a dog by the ears is he who passes by and meddles with strife not belonging to him. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, was I not joking? For the lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, contention quiets down. Like charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a whisperer are like a dainty morsel, and they go down to the innermost parts of the body. Like an earthen vessel overlaid with silver dross are burning lips and a wicked heart. He who hates disguises it with his lips, but he who lays up deceit is in his heart. When he speaks graciously, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred cover itself with guile, his wickedness will not be revealed before the assembly. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone, it will come back on him. A lying tongue hates those it crushes, and a flattering mouth works ruin. A flattering mouth works ruin. That is Proverbs 26. And, I saw something pop up real quick. And my apologies to Kathy and Arnie.
It's a cat.
Sincere apologies, because I know this, and I am Trivial Pursuit wore my brain out. No excuses. No excuses. No, Charlie is our newest grandson. Oh my goodness. And I
Oh
knew
my
that because I
goodness.
had mentioned several times that Charlie was a great name. So, Arnie, Kathy, forgive me. Sincerely, I feel horrible about that.
I feel bad about that.
No, that is on me. I'll be moving to Nebraska. It's not for everybody.
That's right. Well, maybe you can come and maybe you can't after that. It's been national now.
There'll be people chasing me out with pitchforks. I'll be leaving California soon.
I sometimes wonder if they didn't do that to keep people out. Honestly, it's not for everybody. Why don't you just stick to where you're at?
That is, but I know that Kathy and Arnie have a beautiful grandson, and
I love her pictures. The one with the little blonde, is that the little blonde that they did the haircut on, or was that the one she went and visited?
Charlie is the youngest, I believe. I want to make sure that I have this right, but no, that is Archie. I want to make sure that I have that right.
Boy,
I
what a
could be wrong. Oh
beautiful,
my gosh,
handsome,
there's 4, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to be quiet here.
a
Now,
handsome little lad. Oh, that was so darling. It just could have reached out and hugged that little guy. He just so darling.
from the haircut on. All right, let's take a quick look. What did you pick up from this chapter of Proverbs?
The 26:9, it says, normally the first prick of a thorn alerts us. So we remove the thorn before it damages us. A drunk person, however, may not feel the thorn, and so it will work its way into his flesh. Similarly, a fool may not feel the sting of a proverb because he does not see where it touches his life.
Mm.
It might apply to his church, his employer, his spouse, or whomever he is rebelling against. So it kind of
Absolutely.
uses the word rebel as the fool. That's a deep one, really. I always have thought that as a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly.
And
That
that's the thing to this whole part is all about being a fool and avoiding it
yeah.
and making sure that you let a fool, when he is being foolish, let him know that he is a fool, not just to be accepting of it. There are times when we have to call people out. Sometimes we just be quiet and say, let them talk on. But sometimes we have to call it out when people are doing things that are completely foolish.
Yeah, and it talks about gossip. Sometimes that's a hard. You don't know whether you should say something to forewarn someone or to correct someone. I mean, it just, but just to gossip, and I fall short on that one. I'm constantly having to watch myself on that, and it bothers me. Gossip bothers me, and quarrels
Stop the
do die
gossiping.
down. What's that?
Of course, I said, stop the gossiping. Of course, it runs in the family when the grandma was an operator.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that.
All
Well,
right.
being an operator is not for everybody either.
Especially in Nebraska.
Right.
All right. We're going to
So,
move on to Isaiah 54. Lana, why don't you pick up the first 9 verses there?
okay, 54. The future glory of Zion. Oh, sing, O barren woman, you who never bore a child. Burst into song, shout for joy, you who were never in labor, because more are the children of the desolate woman than her who has a husband. Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes. For you will spread out to the right and to the left. Your descendants will dispossess nations and settle in their desolate cities. Do not be afraid. You will not suffer shame. Do not fear disgrace. You will not be humiliated. You will not forget the shame of your youth and remember no more. You will forget the shame of your youth and remember no more the reproach of your widowhood. For your Maker is your husband. The Lord Almighty is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He is called the God of all the earth. The Lord will call you back as if you were a wife deserted and distressed in spirit, a wife who married young only to be rejected, says your God. For a brief moment I abandoned you, but with deep compassion I will bring you back. In surge of anger I hid my face from you for a moment, but with the everlasting kindness I will have compassion on you, says the Lord, your Redeemer. To me, this is like the days of Noah, when I swore that the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth. So now I have sworn not to be angry with you, never to rebuke you again.
Mm. For the mountains may be removed and the hills may shake, but my loving kindness will not be removed from you, and my covenant of peace will not be shaken, says the Lord, who has compassion on you. O afflicted one, storm tossed and not comforted, behold, I will set your stories in antimony, and your foundations I will lay in sapphires. Moreover, I will make your battlements of rubies, and your gates of crystal, and your entire wall of precious stones. All your sons will be taught of the Lord, and the well-being of your sons will be great. In righteousness you will be established. You will be far from oppression, for you will not fear, and from terror, for it will not come near you. If anyone fiercely assails you, it will not be from me. Whoever assails you will fall because of you. Behold, I myself have created the smith who blows the fire on the coals and brings out a weapon for its works, and I have created the destroyer to ruin. No weapon that is formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that accuses you in judgment you will condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord.
Wow.
There was a lot of things happening there. What are you
Yeah.
pulling from this, Miss Lana?
Well, this says to be childless, back in that time, or barren, was a woman's great shame, a disgrace. Families, they depended on children for survival, especially when the parents became elderly.
Mm,
And the parents depended on those children to work
yeah, absolutely.
and to take care of them. And finally, God says that He allowed Israel to become fruitless, barren woman, but He would permit her to have many children and would change her mourning into singing. It goes on. God had abandoned them. I mean, He really had turned His face on Israel.
And that was what I wanted to hit on. That's number 8, verse 8. And let's see. In an outburst of anger, I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting loving kindness will have compassion on you. So,
And
because
this goes a little further, Charles. It says, to me, this is like the days of Noah, when I swore that the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth. So now I have sworn not to be angry with you, never to rebuke you again.
mm,
And when we pray and we remind God of what He's done, I think that's very important. I'm just putting my own personal expression in here, but how many people do you hear that will say, well, I think God is just going to destroy the United States because they've turned from God, and they go on like that, which of course is not what we would want. We really don't want that. I don't. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I'd love to have the Lord come back and take everybody with Him, but we all know that that just might not be the way it is. And I'd like to see Him restore our country to even better than what it ever was. And I'm thinking this would be, and probably will be, something I'll go over and use it in my prayers.
yeah,
Look at how bad the earth was when He covered it with water. in the time of Noah. I don't know if we've come to that. It looks almost the same.
Well, as I was reading that, I'm thinking, okay, what are we doing with the areas that are being flooded? It seems like on a yearly basis. Um, what is going on with the areas that are being ravaged by fire? Well, a lot of that is caused by man. So we have to be smart. We have gotten flooded in San Jose because we directed the waters, and the waters had a natural flow and they were going where it was supposed to be. So sometimes it's foolish mistakes. And sometimes we know that we have to be building on rock
Not
instead
on
of
sand,
the sand base of the rivers and
right?
those areas that are being flooded. We just understand, all right, this is what happens.
Yeah,
Build away from there, or
yeah.
build so that you know that it will survive and you know that it's coming. So there's a lot of things. But this was all about God turning away from sin. I can have this no more. I can't even look at you.
Well, and God still cannot look at sin. So only
Absolutely.
through the redemption of Christ does he look at us. And
Absolutely.
all and it's Jesus who stands the gap there and says, "Hey, wait a minute. This is my child. This is one I saved." And he's the one that's the medium, I believe, that says, "Look, she's covered by my blood. I died for her." And she's accepted that. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't understand. God cannot look at sin. He just can't handle it.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and finish her up by going to Ephesians 6:10 through 20. Lana, why don't you pick that up for us? And we will finish up on our day after Thanksgiving.
Ephesians. Why am I getting? Okay, here I am. Ephesians, the armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand. Stand firm, then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all of this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. Pray also for me that whenever I open my mouth, words may be given me so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should.
Amen. And of course, that is
Amen.
Paul in his letter to the Ephesians. And everyone should be reading this. Everyone should be doing it on a daily basis. If you can, do
Yes.
that and take it in. Take it in. Let's take a look. We got one correct. We got one correct, Mr. Archie. Thank you for your
He's a
beautiful
beautiful.
grace.
He's so gorgeous. I just.
Nancy Medina
Uh,
Tipio Malunda. Good morning, Charles and Lana. Nancy, have an
they're
enjoyable.
beautiful.
take care of yourself, and God bless you down there in the Philippines. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nancy, thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving. You know what? We should be living our lives on a daily basis, like each day is Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Be grateful. Be grateful. Or as Tom Ginn would say, have some gratitude.
Have some gratitude. Well,
Grab
we've
yourself
got
some gratitude.
to have a little of that. But
Absolutely.
remember, when you're thinking of us being grateful in Nebraska, it's just not
It's just not
going to be
for everybody. All right.
That's
I want
funny.
to thank everyone for joining us on the Friday after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. If you'd like to share this out, please do. We will be back tomorrow. This is Bay Area Let's Talk the Holy Bible. And if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you join us as we continue our walk through the Bible. Have a great Friday, everyone. And
Have a
look
good
forward
one.
to
Stay
on.
safe. Blessings.